No Charles today?
No Charles, and I don't think, no. It was a sleep half of last episode, right? So I don't want to mess with it, and I don't know how to get it to stay on the screen the whole time.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it feels like everything we talked about earlier this week is now irrelevant. So we just dropped an episode yesterday, and it was right after the MLP and PPA news came out that they are officially going to merge, or at least that's what we're seeing. All the details kind of seem fuzzy on it. So we're just kind of playing this as it goes right now. So really don't listen to last episode, except maybe the last 5 minutes. John gives a great intro of how he got into pickleball. Other than that, it's really just me being stupid the whole time and John making me look a little bit smarter. So I guess we could start. Let's start last week.
Okay. All right.
So let's start this week by ending with what we talked about last week, which was how'd you get into pickleball?
Yes. So I guess we'll do the quick summary. I love that if I do this quick summary, it sounds like I'm going to try and do the elevator pitch of my story. So the quick elevator pitch of how I got into pickleball, my dad was in the Navy and he was gone a lot. And so I ended up picking up basketball to get his approval. And I spent a lot of years getting good at basketball, and then he passes away. And so what I learned then is it wasn't the love of basketball; it was actually the love of my dad. So
it was honestly, maybe we can just plug last week's last 5 minutes in because that was really good.
That's true.
And I was getting teary eyed in here. I was telling people to turn off the lights. Okay, so we're going to plug that in, or we didn't. I don't know. You can go back and listen either way. Right. And what did you learn from that? You said you wanted to add something.
Yeah, there was so the end of all that, right? I was thinking about, okay, I spent all these years, and I was trying to think. My earliest memory was maybe when I was 10. I started playing basketball. And then my dad passed away. I'm 27. It was about, what is that, 17? Doing the math right? Is that right?
My math doesn't math.
17 years. Let's say 17 years.
I have CTE.
And then, and then I still play a couple years after he passes away. So let's just roughly say it's 20 years. I'm playing basketball 20 years, right? All for my dad and this idea that he was this legend in basketball. After he died, I learned he was a volleyball legend. He barely played basketball. Yes, I learned this much later, and that was where I'm like...
Your whole childhood was a lie? Oh, my God.
And you know what's funny? When I brought it up to my mom, she said, your dad never really played basketball. It was volleyball.
That's one of the most depressing things I've ever heard. That's actually so funny, though. I was traveling back to my parents in Ohio a few weeks ago, and my 2 Basset hounds had just passed away earlier this year, R.I.P. Ben and Bailey. Anyways, I'm talking to my mom, and when I was a little kid, we had a golden retriever. And my whole life, my brother told me when I was little that I opened the door, the dog ran out, got hit by a car.
Oh.
That conversation came up 2 weeks ago when I was visiting, and my mom was like, Brant, that never happened. You were sick and asleep. I let the dog out and killed it. I was like, I just spent my whole life with this trauma. I have PTSD. I've had PTSD my whole life from this incident.
Yeah. I'd like to think that, like you said, it's like these memories that we got. And then I guess for me, it's
how twisted they can get too, and just how it can affect your core, and it's not even true.
I know. I looking at it again, I'm like, you know what? It's somewhat freeing now. Now when I put basketball on the shelf, I'm like, you know what? It's okay. I've given enough to the sport. I think I'm good.
Yeah. So that's funny. Okay.
Yeah. So that's an update. Go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe we should talk about pickleball. So, anyways, PPA, MLP. Long story short, they were supposed to merge a while back,
right.
And then everything fell through. MLP went silent. They started signing players, and PPA reacted by signing players. Mm-hmm. Everyone's just throwing money left and right. We think it's split up. And then literally we talk about it on a podcast, and the next 2 days later, it's announced that they're remerging. So what are the implications of them remerging? Remerging, is that even a word?
I would say there was a plan. I think we talked about in the last pod, which is There was a plan. They were more cordial with each other, right? You're doing your own thing. We're doing our own thing. And so I don't know how strong of an actual plan there was to merge at the time. There was, probably rumors of it, I'm sure. But what we saw, what was it? Like, what is it? A day ago, 2 days ago, that they have actually officially merged. There's a whole new overarching.
There was a private investment group, right, that put in $50 million.
Correct.
Just
So,
say,
but there's
hey,
I forget the name of it. I think it's UPPA.
I have no idea.
But there's a over. What do you want to call it? Let's just say there's another company that's overseeing both of them now. They're going to hire a CEO for that, all that kind of stuff. And with that, they're invested in each other in the sense that they're, from what I understand, whatever one makes, the other, again, you're splitting that amongst, because now you got this, now it's this company that's making, the money, and then you would split it.
Yeah. So it's so interesting to me because when you look at how everything went down, we had already talked about, it seemed like the PPA got the best talent, the top tier talent. Yeah. The MLP got the majority. So,
right.
And as far as the contracts go, the MLP was set up in clear writing. The PPA seemed like it was just throwing money. My biggest question is, as a player, like, how are contracts going to look now?
It's interesting.
Is everything from ground zero again, and they just have to rebuild from there?
From what I heard is they're honoring the contracts that were offered on both sides. So you end up with interesting scenario in that for in terms of the numbers of signed, right? MLP had way more numbers, like you talked about. They had a lot more players signed. PPA had less players signed. So from a strategy standpoint, during this, let's call it what I'm calling free agency time, where they're just trying to sign players. They're offering contracts to players who are brand new, up and coming, brand new, maybe got some potential that you've never heard of. And then on the MLP side, right, because they were able to, let's say, strike early, and the players, some of them, I think, taking the money because they're like, hey, this is a much better deal. And it's almost kind of this loyalty of like, hey, I'm going to go with MLP because it sounds like a better deal for me as a player overall, paid travel, all the kind of stuff that we talked about last week. And so it's a weird scenario now where you got the top talent and if all contracts are being kept as they are, you got some people on both ends of it that kind of got screwed, and then the other end got paid too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's what I was kind of reading because, I mean, after the PPA signed the top tier, it was a severe drop off.
Correct. Because they had much less
MLP
players.
had the majority.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you're trying to fill the roster.
Up and comers, I don't know any of their names, and they're making substantially more than the people who honored the MLP contracts.
Yeah. That's
so
the part
as a player,
really
I would be furious right now. Except if I was an up and comer who signed the PPA.
So it brings up, I think, that we talked about in the last.
This is all speculation, by the way, because I don't know if anything's even written down.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think for now, like we said, it could change. Maybe they renegotiate all the contracts. I don't know.
That's why we're uploading this as fast as we can.
Well, I mean, I think there's that idea too of like, now that they're one company, right? There's this, let's call it, what's the incentive to renegotiate the contracts? If some of them were, let's call it company friendly, right? They were cheaper deals than probably what someone could have gotten. And then on the other side of it, well, once you open that door of renegotiation, you're going to have to do it for all, right? Because then if you try to renegotiate the up and comers, then someone's going to get upset that you're not renegotiating theirs as well. So I don't know. And I think, like we talked about in the last pod, it reminds me of like the merger for NFL. What happened there as well? It's been so much time now that we don't know. I'm sure they figured stuff out, but I have no memory of I just know the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're going to have to change the contracts somewhat. It's just, as an MLP player, I'd be furious to make substantially less than somebody in the CPA who I don't.
Yeah, I would say there's the early MLP signees. Yeah. I think those are the ones to me that, to your point, probably offered less. Then you've got the late MLP signees who had more, let's call it leverage. Yeah. They probably are fine. But yeah, for those that were early, how do you feel about these up and comers on the PPA if they're making more than you?
Yeah, right? And one of the things I read was potential boycotting for the next few events, which would be unfortunate for me because I'm planning on going to Atlanta next week.
Well, for the MLP Atlanta, they have a contingency plan of trying to fill the rosters. Again, it's weird, right? Because if you have some Premier League teams that are missing players,
it doesn't feel the same to me.
Right, because you don't have, again, I'd call it's a byproduct of what shook out.
Yeah, I'm not a super fan. I only know the big names. So it's not as fun when I'm watching and I don't know anyone.
Yeah. So, no, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, and to your point, do they renegotiate? Do they not? I don't know. There's the idea that from a let's call it keeping your players happy, that you should. Is it going to take a lot of time and effort? It's going to. Probably,
part of it feels like digression to me almost, to where it seemed like they had something that was going to work, and then it went to shit, and then now it's like, okay, let's rebuild from ground zero.
Yeah. Well, like we talked about, competition's great though. It forces these kinds of things. So from a fan standpoint, hey, all the players are back. Now, there's still some, let's call it residual effects.
Hold your breath. Yeah.
There's some residual effects on, what could happen at MLP Atlanta, but overall, right, that's better for the sport. You want to have all the players there. Long term overall, right? This idea of a unified league. So
and then part of me thinks this is just a giant ploy for publicity.
I mean
it's insane. Like I don't know, sorry, I'm messing with my mic right now. I'm 6'6". This is, how do I do this? Okay, I'm gonna lean into it. That's okay. Adapt, adjust. But yeah, part of me just thinks it's a ploy. I don't know. Like, let's get as many eyes on this as we can. And let's blow it out of proportion.
It reminds me of like the most recent NBA free agency, where there's so and so says this, so and so says that, and it's getting eyes on it. It's getting coverage. And yeah, I mean, there's I think that adage of like news. Well, no matter what, right? It's news.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the future looks like. Everything and everybody is just speculating right now. Nobody knows the exact details.
Well, hey, I've showed up as your agent today, so we'll see if we can get you a compliment.
Yeah, I know. And I'm back to looking like a pro player.
That's perfect.
This is how if you're watching this video, this is how we would show up at tournaments.
It was back to perfect time. We'll get you a 3-year deal. Let's see if we can get some of these up and coming contracts.
Yeah, I would definitely be entertaining out there. I think I'd be good at fan engagement.
Hey.
As far as pickleball, not so much. Okay, so really that's really all there is right now. There's nothing else to talk about regarding that.
Yeah, because
so like I just wanted to do a fun segment series where I'm just going to ask you random questions. Half of these I know because you have good morals, you're not going to probably answer, even though I want you to. So we're just going to go down a list of random questions, give our opinions, and make some pickleball players happy, mad, or sad. Okay. So John, favorite pickleball player?
Pesa.
Pesa.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Why is that a surprise to you?
I just feel like, he's good. Like, he's a great player. I don't know, but it's not.
He reminds me of like, again, it's comparing people to other players, but I like players that for whatever reason they're so nice and good that it bothers you. Like I like Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Like it's fake. Like there's no way you're that person.
I love those kinds of players because they're so good and they're so jolly. You're kind of like, I don't know how to rattle this person, and you keep trying, and then they just seem unshakable. And that's how Pesa comes off to me. And I know he's improved and gotten better and better. But there's that I keep seeing him all videos and all that. He seems like he's having a good time.
Yeah,
and I love that.
I have a Larry Fitzgerald story. I don't know if I can say it out there. It's super funny. He caught me in the shower once. I'll leave it at that. Okay, that just made it sound way worse. Okay, I feel really weird right now. We're just gonna.
Hey, who's
okay? I think my favorite player would be Julian Arnold, and that's somebody who, when I think we were at that tournament the first time I ever saw him play.
Yep. That's when they won. Yeah.
But the first 6 hours, I hated that guy. I was like, I have video footage on my phone saying I want to punch this guy in the face. And then I'm just watching him more, and he's so passionate on the court. And he kind of looks like Morgan Wallen, but who cares? It just helps him out, I would think, with publicity. But then he talks smack too, and it makes you like him.
Yeah, so you like
much.
the smack talk. You like
I like
players.
the passion, the fire. He's yelling "Andiamo" or whatever he's yelling. I don't
Andiamo,
really know.
You got it.
I really like Julian Arnold. Okay, least favorite player.
Ooh, least favorite player. I think you and I might have the same least.
I think so. I'll go first. Okay, Rafa Hewitt.
Yeah, that's the same.
I hate Rafa Hewitt. You might be a nice guy. I don't care. I hate you.
Yeah, we talk about personas sometimes when you're on court. You got an on court. So Chris Paul, right? Known to be not really nice on the court. Right? Yeah. So that's how I feel like Rafa is.
But I feel like he's mean off the court too. I remember he was like yelling at this kid in the middle of a match to go get him a Coke or something, and then
I mean he's on on the court.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
He's getting ready for.
But
his
he's
game.
just always bitching. It feels like. I'm like, dude, come on! You look like you just got out of a hot dog eating contest.
Also, I think our first time when we went to APP, we saw him with a mixed. This is we didn't know anyone. And he was playing with, I think her name is Trifunovic.
Yeah, yes. I remember that last name. I can't pronounce it.
And I think we were kind of like, he seems mean to her. Now, again.
Yes, that was the initial thing that got me. I forgot about that.
No, learning what we know now, right? He's coming over and taking the shots, right? We're like, hey, this seems a little unfair. That was our, lack of knowledge. And I remember back to what Monica Piekarski said, right? Hey, we need people to come over and take the shots because it eases up. Because otherwise they're going to keep hitting so many shots.
Yeah, I forget what tournament it was. I was watching it on YouTube though, and the commentators couldn't even commentate the game because Rafa was just like shit talking the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I forget. It was probably like a month ago, 2 months ago, maybe.
Okay.
But it was just like, dude, stop. Yeah. This is pickleball, okay? Like,
I love it. What's the shit talking line? Like there's like a decent.
I don't know. Julian Arnold does it well. Rafa takes some notes.
It's like Julian's level's good. Rafa's a little.
Julian, you want to punch in the face at first, and then you're like, no, I want to be that guy. Okay. Player who we think is the biggest asshole, Rafa Hewitt. Most swaggy player.
Most swaggy.
We probably have the same answer on this too.
What's yours? I'm curious because none come to mind.
Tyson McGuffin.
Yeah, Tyson.
I mean,
Tyson.
I've never seen Skechers look so good.
Yeah, I would agree. Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, tatted up, veneers. Yeah. Bad boy. But I've heard he's a really nice guy.
Oh yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Player who we think is the best cook.
Just based on watching them play pickleball.
Yes.
Okay, all right. This is a little.
You might have thought I was on drugs when I came up with this list 30 minutes before. And I wasn't.
And I'm trying to figure out what kind of pickleball skills would translate into great cooks now. So I'm like, somebody who's a great at dinking now means you're good at managing dishes. I don't know.
So for some reason, I just think Dekel Bar would be like a really good chef.
Okay, just because. The name, like it's like you could see a Dekel Bar restaurant,
Yeah, I don't know.
The Dekel Bar.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Look, these are just questions.
I love it. Off the top of my head, I don't have any names that come up. I'm trying to think of some. Nothing comes to mind. So
okay, no, well, you're not gonna like this one. Okay. Player who can shotgun a beer the fastest.
Ooh, I was thinking Rafa Hewitt.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. Yeah. Or I was going to say Dekel Bar again, just last name. Andre Diescu, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like he could throw it back. Okay. Player who you'd like to have a beer with.
Oh, interesting. Ooh, that's a great question.
It is.
I really like that one.
I'm thinking about it too. I should have probably thought about my answers.
Tyson, because I hear he, like you said, he's really nice, and he seems really open to, let's call it, any kinds of questions, kind of a thing. Like, hey, how do you get started? Like if for whatever reason we, happen to hang out at a bar, I feel like he'd actually say, hey, how's it going? Like whatever, like your suit, like your style. Does that like, are you an agent?
Yeah. Who's that 16-year-old?
Hayden, Patrick Quinn.
Yeah, Patrick Quinn.
You want to have a beer with Patrick?
Yeah, first to test him to see if he'd drink it with me. And then I'd be like, dude, you're underage, you can't. And then I would just like to get a vibe from him because I don't really know if I like him that much either. But he's young and I get part of it. He has so much publicity thrown at him. He's homies with Gary Vee.
Yeah.
I get it. But also he seems like a teenage crybaby sometimes. And that's facts. But he makes a lot more money than I do. So more power to you. Okay, player who you wouldn't want to be stuck on an elevator with.
Ooh, interesting.
I have mine right now.
Oh, okay, you can go for it.
Zane. What's his last name?
Navratil?
Navratil
with an N.
Because I'm so sorry. This is so mean. Maybe we shouldn't air this, but I cannot stand his voice.
Yeah.
You can't come at somebody like that, but I did. I'm sorry. I do apologize.
I'm trying to think.
That was too low hanging fruit. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked that question.
I'm trying to think of who I wouldn't want to be in an elevator with.
Rafa Hewitt.
No, I don't know. I don't think he'd give a shit. Yeah. He'd just be like, you know what I mean? It's 30 seconds, whatever.
Who else annoys me? A lot of players annoy me, I'm realizing. Maybe this list was just therapy.
Maybe.
It was a form of therapy for me.
Yeah, so none come to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is too mean of a question. We're going to skip it. Anyways, the answer is going to be Rafa Hewitt.
I know, based on the trends, it does feel like there's like you said, you're working through some trauma and we're just targeting one person.
I've shifted from Michael Lloyd because him and I are friends now.
I heard about that. Yeah.
We still have to play Michael. There's no chance I'm not scoring 3 points, okay?
I did see him play at pickleball. I don't know.
And also, I went 1-3. I played an open tournament last weekend.
Oh, really?
Well, I went 1-2. John, you were there.
Yeah. I was there. Yes. Sorry. Correct.
I went 1-2.
Yes.
But I'm going to blame my girlfriend. I'm just kidding. I take ownership.
The one win was in the heat. So maybe there's this idea
tired.
Under pressure when the elements are in your face.
When the heat was turned up, your boy was cooking. Okay. If a pickleball match had a halftime show, who would you want to perform? I'm thinking MLP format because I could see them doing a halftime show.
MLP halftime. Who would I want to be there? It's got to be fun, engaging with the audience.
Yeah, I'm thinking like Creed.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking like a band.
A band? Okay, I was thinking more like
or T Swift.
Less a specific band, more kind of like some kind of crowd engagement, performance kind of a thing.
This is why I love asking you these questions because I knew you're going to be so logical.
Yeah. Well, no, because I again when it's a big ass stadium, you take I don't even know the names of the Suns Arena anymore, but because it keeps changing.
No,
but
they
anyway,
change it every
year.
year.
So you're singing this huge thing, right? Huge auditorium, but pickleball court's tiny. You can have someone singing, belting, sure, but I think there's something about I don't know. I started thinking like a little circus. This is only because of Vegas, where there's you're near the crowd, so you can feel the danger.
Yeah. No, that honestly fits the bill for pickleball. Just have a circus coming to town for 15 minutes. They should do a pickleball Super Bowl. Not a Super Bowl, but in a football stadium. And it would just probably hit the bottom section. I don't think that many people would actually go.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
You think people would show? Dude, we've been to so many tournaments and they're packed, but not.
Yeah, but I mean, so it depends on how you
market it.
Yeah. So if it's just pros and stuff, you're right. I don't know how many people are just going to show up for pros, but if you do
get celebrities,
if you do celebs, and then what if you, in addition, again, I keep coming back to Charles's 8 to 88, but you throw in amateurs in there, you mix them in there.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about pros, celebs, amateurs, all playing under one roof.
Yeah. What was that
wild.
show? I have a question on this in a second.
Sure.
But what was that show? It had like Emma Watson.
Show
Because she's a dog at pickleball.
Do
you know? And Will Ferrell was
in it. Yeah, I don't remember the name. It was it was a little tournament.
I wish we had Jamie, like Joe Rogan. Studio sucks.
I think it's Pickled.
Pickled.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're ever going to do a season 2.
I don't know. I mean, as it's growing,
it was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I should ask this. I don't know.
What's holding
player with the worst work ethic? I feel like they all have to have some kind of work ethic.
Yeah. Because of...
I don't want to answer that. Rafa Hewitt.
I guess there's the idea of like somebody who's super talented that doesn't need to work as hard. I don't know if you can right now. I don't think you can. I think you have to keep putting in the work.
Yeah. Okay. Player who you'd like to partner up with.
Ooh, interesting. Gut feeling was Colin Johns. Yeah. Well, it's because in terms of, playing with my brother, right? I learned I like being on the left side. Yeah. Colin is a great right side player. That's really it. Who do I know is a good right side player that's defensive, all that kind of stuff. To me, that's top of the mind. Comes to that. Now, I'm not saying I'm Ben Johns.
I think you just did.
but I could be.
With enough practice, you can set your mind to something, practice, and you'll get that.
No, that Ben is awesome. There's no way I could even.
Yeah, who? I don't know who. I feel like
think about how you like to play, and then work around that. Right? Do you like playing?
I don't put that much thought into it.
as I've seen you. So let's talk. As you've talked about.
I feel like Julian Arnold I'd like to play with. I'm blanking on every professional pickleball player right now.
Yeah, you seem to have the most fun on the left, just because you can get the reach, all that kind of stuff. So then you're going to need
I do have that. Wow, I didn't even know that about myself. I do have the most fun.
Yes, yeah. You could. There's been a couple times playing with you where I'm on the right, and then I'm like, oh hey, I can hit, and then you're just there, and I'm like, oh he's there. Look at that. Because I again with your build, I didn't think you can get to some of these shots, which is good, and I think too there's that intimidation factor. If you can apply pressure, then you're just like, I was like, oh man, this big guy can move.
Yeah.
So then I don't know who that.
I feel like Jessie Irvine might be.
That's actually who I thought about.
Person to partner with too.
Yeah. So she's pretty solid defensively. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Player who you think is a favorite among other players.
Oh, I think Viv David.
Oh boy. I hope you guys didn't hear that. I just crashed my leg into the table. Viv David?
Yeah, I heard she's very well liked as an overall player, just really nice. That's the thing.
Yeah, she does have that sweet girl.
It's like no matter what, and I guess to your point about having a great partner, there's also depending on what you need in a partner.
She is nice.
Yeah,
I'm remembering all the times at tournaments. She seems so nice.
Yeah,
like Rafa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get death threats. I'm kidding. Nobody listens to this. Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Well, not to shout out anybody because this podcast is not sponsored by anyone, but Andre Diascu. Okay. I've actually heard by numerous players that he is a favorite. Like he's always texting other people, seeing how they're doing. Tyson McGuffin gave him a shout out too.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think he's a really good dude. Also, just happens to be Proton. Okay. I should have thought a little bit harder about these questions. We're gonna skip this.
Some of them too bold.
It's a little bold. Okay. I mean, like maybe we'll get there in the future. What kind of music do you think Ben Johns listens to before a match?
Oh man, he seems to be someone who doesn't get rattled. So something that is
I feel like like just some symphony.
I don't know. This is one of those fun things about perception. He doesn't seem to get rattled. So I'm thinking like like white noise, like it's just a tone.
I don't think he shows emotion. Though. You're right. He does not show emotion.
And I mean, it's good. It's good for him, right? And then you could see him figuring you out while he's solid like a rock. He's figuring you out how to beat you. So that's where, again, he's got some kind of, I don't know, what do you want to call it? It's a sound bowl or something.
I would agree with that, though. Ben Johns kind of scares me because he just has zero emotion. Okay, who talks the best smack? That's kind of a dumb question.
It seems, because we already talked about
Julian
that.
Arnold, yeah.
Jack Sock, by the way, as a surprise from tennis.
Also does he talk some smack?
Yeah.
I would have to be on the lookout for
he
him.
By the way, in terms of news, he after the U.S. Open, which just I don't know if it just ended, but ended. He has retired from tennis and is now
he's full pickleball, right?
Full pickleball. Yeah, he was pretty much doing a lot of pickleball and stuff, but I don't know what that means for because he got signed by PPA, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he's going to be in terms of for next year, draft wise and stuff.
Yeah, that will be interesting because he was actually a good tennis player too, wasn't he?
Yeah. And what was cool about watching him talk
There's
trash,
a women's tennis player who just signed.
women's tennis.
No.
Unfamiliar. Yeah. I know
Oh my God.
Hurricane Tyra Black. She made the transition from tennis to pickle and she's playing phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Who seems like they have a dark secret that they're hiding?
Ooh.
A player, like initial thought, Matt Wright.
The lawyer?
The lawyer.
I mean, that makes sense.
It does. Like Matt Wright. Ben Johns gives me weird vibes. Matt Wright, I'm like, dude, I think you might have murdered somebody.
Matt, I don't know if he has a dark secret. He seems like one that will figure out what your dark secret is.
I don't know.
He's got a case file on every player, and he's just gathering research.
Yeah. Okay, best overall athlete in pickleball.
I'd have to say the 2 week. What is his name? He signed with MLP. God, what is it? He's two-hander.
John, this is unlike you.
I know. I'm blanking on his name.
Mine's Jesse Irvine.
Riley Newman. Riley Newman plays with his sister. Yeah, a lot.
Oh,
yeah. Just because he's two-handing, he's one-handing, he's all over the court. I'd have to say Riley. Yeah.
He's so obscure to me. Really? I feel like, just because he's such a high talent, and he does get a lot of recognition, but I feel like not as much as others.
Is it because he's playing with Matt Wright?
Yeah, maybe.
Or he was. He's not anymore. Yeah. So now that he's not, I think he's getting more and more, let's call it, eyes. Yeah. Because it seems like, okay, who's he going to be playing with next? How is this partnership going to work out? Because he was playing with Matt for a long time. Yeah. And so, again, to me, Matt has that, like, I don't know how you describe it, but it seems like a wall, just like a, hey,
yeah, Matt Wright seems like he just, never mind. I can't say that. I need to stop being mean. This was honestly going to be a roast of Matt Wright and Rafa Yu.
Yeah. Again,
I can commit to Rafa more so because just everything
watch
I've
out.
seen.
The lawyer, you might come
I know. That's what Matt Wright. Nope. Matt, you're a great guy. Continue playing fantastic pickleball. Mine would be Jessie Irvine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She just seems super talented.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And just like raw talent.
Yeah.
Celebrity that you'd like to see play pickleball.
Ooh. I'd have to go with Serena Williams.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her on the court.
Yeah, they did something in Vegas where she was playing. I didn't catch all of the... Yeah. I didn't catch the match, but I saw highlights.
I know John McEnroe played against Drew Brees and beat Drew Brees. It was in New Orleans for a little fun tournament, like a fundraiser. And so Johnny Mac, he can still hit pretty well.
Celebrity, I think Emma Watson, because after watching the show, Dinked, she was actually really good.
She's really good, and she seemed really competitive.
Yeah, and I would just like to see how she fares against.
Yeah, and is it because of the Harry Potter?
I think I have a crush on Hermione too. Just a childhood crush. Yeah. Says I want you to be great at pickleball. Okay, player most likely to commit a white collar crime.
What's a white collar crime? Like tax evasion?
Like tax evasion. Yeah, this was geared for Matt Wright, but I'm staying away from that. And I'm going, who's the Rettinger? What's his last name? Tom?
Rettenmeyer.
Rettenmeyer.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah,
we'll skip it.
My thought on that is because I know he's got maybe it's the idea of he's investing in a lot of businesses because I saw he's got like a not necessarily his own clothing line, but he has a brand that he works with for clothing. So reminds me of other.
This is you giving a very logical answer to why.
That's a good answer, man. Come on. And then because I think about like other pro players who buy like a restaurant and then, and it goes under, and then it's like, okay, what do you do with the taxes on that thing, right?
Yeah.
That's my line of thinking. I mean, not all restaurants can do well. What do you do with the money?
That's fair. Okay. We're going to skip a few of these questions because they're geared at Rafa Hewitt. I'm kind of over there right now. It felt good to get that out.
I imagine it says like, when Rafa this.
It's just, and like, I wasn't even consciously thinking about it. I think my subconscious was just like, let's have all these geared toward Rafa Hewitt as the answer.
Yeah, it eventually transitions from like, what do you call it? What player to literally says Rafa.
Rafa. Okay. Player most likely to miss a tournament simply because they forgot.
Oh.
My answer, DJ Young.
Oh.
I don't know why. I feel like DJ Young is a raw pickleball player. He has to connect the dots. And I think immaturity, he's shown he's thrown paddles. I don't know. I just feel like I could see him missing a tournament.
Yeah. I agree. I was trying to think if there'd be someone else. No one else comes to mind.
Patrick Quinn, first time drinking.
With you? You just get him plastered. He doesn't make it to the tournament.
Okay. I have player with the most kissable face, the most punchable face. I think we're just going to skip those.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else we should talk about? I mean, everything regarding the MLP PPA.
Yeah, I think
it's just so fuzzy right now. We just have to wait until there's more detail. I mean, there's not even paperwork that we know of that's signed, or it's all speculation.
I'd say when you go to MLP Atlanta, you'll have to see what the vibe is like, right? Yeah. See how it feels, and I don't know. You see, maybe you go talk to Zane.
Go talk to Zane. I'm scared to go by Rafa.
To be fair, Zane, as I don't know, if you've seen,
and he's a good businessman.
Yeah,
the fact he started his own paddle company. Zane, I do really respect you, and I think you're a smart person.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sorry.
Remember the Zane saw the spin serve, all Zane, just destroying people left and right.
He kind of is an OG.
Yeah, I like Zane for. I think we talked about this before about he pushing innovation. I like innovative people. Like, hey, this is within the rules. Give it a shot, and then
and he's not afraid to speak his mind.
That's the other part.
No matter how it sounds.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I think that's all we have. Let's air this as fast as possible so the news doesn't change. I mean, literally, I'm like, dude, we can't even post last week, and then I was like, well, no one really listens to this. Let's just go full send.
Hey, at least you can be consistent. You know?
100%.
Right?
All right, everyone. That was John Ibanez, one of my good friends, and that was...
An agent.
And agent. I'm telling you, MLP PPA, I am a steal, all right? I will give full effort. All right, I think that's all we got. Bye.